My name is Robert Hamlin. I'm a emeritus professor of English at Southeast Missouri State University, where I taught for 50 years. And for 25 of those, I was the founding director of the Center for Faulkner Studies, and all of that was great fun. William Faulkner is considered one of the great American writers. He certainly ranks with Twain and Melville, Hawthorne, James, and is considered the greatest of Southern writers. So his international reputation from the 60s onward has been tied in large measure to the interest in civil rights and equality, justice for minorities particularly. I wrote a master's thesis on Faulkner. I did my doctoral dissertation on Faulkner, and it was all on his technique. And I'd never read a novelist or a short story writer who used that kind of experimental technique. In 1978, in a night class, a Faulkner seminar, a student, a teacher from Farmington, Missouri, came up to me during the break and asked me had I ever met the Faulkner collector who lived in Farmington, Missouri. I had no idea there was a Faulkner collector in Missouri. I said, are you sure you don't mean Mark Twain? But L.D. Brodsky lived at that time he was a native of St. Louis. He was living and working in Farmington. And I wrote a letter to Brodsky. I told him about my 20 years of reading and studying Faulkner, writing about him. I understood that he had been collecting Faulkner for quite a while. Could we meet sometime? And he invited me up to Farmington one Saturday. We met at the Mercantile Bank, where the more valuable of his materials were stored in safe deposit boxes in the bank vault. We met there on a Saturday morning. We talked about Faulkner. We talked about what he might do with his collection. And I invited him into this room. He looked at the shelves, he looked at the arrangement, the possibility. He said, I wish I had a room like this for my collection. And I said, here's one. No sign, we never had a signed contract, we never had an agreement in any formal sense. We were just two friends interested in William Faulkner. He had the collection, I knew how to write a footnote. And that collaboration continued for 36 years until his death a couple of years ago. So we talked early on about what to do with the collection, and it was agreed that we should create a Center for Faulkner Studies. LD would be a consultant to that center. He would continue to build his collection now for Southeast. I would become the director of the center. And as soon as we had it cataloged and made available, we could invite scholars to come in and use the materials. So the scholars started coming. They come from all over the United States. They come from China. They come from Japan. They've come from the Republic of Georgia, from Australia, from Canada, from Romania. They're still coming. We just had a young Chinese scholar arrive on campus. She'll be here for a year to use this collection and do her research. This collection has put Southeast Missouri State University on an international map. Since that acquisition, we are now ranked in the top 4 Faulkner collections, not in the United States, but in the world. We are in the top 4 in the world. There is more written on William Faulkner today, more books and articles in print on William Faulkner than there are on William Shakespeare. Faulkner has been called the American Shakespeare. And we're part of all that. And the filmmakers, when they did the documentary, they used the materials in this collection as artifacts for the documentary, and they spent 2 weeks interviewing Chris Rieger and me about Faulkner's life and career. And so there we are on the screen, representing Southeast. The other 3 collections were built by institutions. This collection was built by a single individual. He scoured the country. He talked to everybody that he could find that had ever met William Faulkner, anybody Faulkner might have written a letter to, anybody that he might have signed a book for. LD put this collection together as a single individual. LD was almost unique as a collector. A lot of collectors want to hoard. They want something that nobody else has, and they don't want to share it with anybody. You know, they just want to go off into their private study occasionally and open up their material and look at it and then box it up and lock it away again. I think from the first day he acquired his first Faulkner book, had this dream to someday build a collection that could be used for scholarship by people from wherever. And he and I lived long enough, and we had the cooperation of this institution, a succession of presidents and deans and department chairs and archivists. We were able to help him realize that dream. His dream became our dream. And that was fun. For 36 years, we worked together, became dear friends, brothers, and it's, you know, Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss. L.D. Brodsky would say to any student, forget the money. We hope you make a lot of it, but it won't make you happy. Follow your bliss. Follow your dream. Make it happen. He made his happen, and fortunately, he allowed us to be a part of that.